Hey Pisces, I just pulled cards for you about this situation, and honestly, what came through is something I really need to share with you. So let me just dive right in because these cards are revealing so much about what's actually happening behind the scenes with this person. The first card that appeared is the Ten of Pentacles, and wow, this is telling me so much about what this person is about to lose or what they're realizing they've already lost. See, the Ten of Pentacles represents legacy, stability, long-term security, and everything that matters when it comes to building something real and lasting. This card is showing me that this person is suddenly aware of what they had with you or what they could have had. There's this energy of them looking at their current life situation and realizing that the grass isn't actually greener on the other side. They're seeing other people with stable relationships, families, genuine connections, and they're comparing that to their own emptiness. What's really coming through strongly here is that this person is starting to understand that you represented something they can't find anywhere else. You weren't just another person in their life, you were the foundation, the home, the safe place they took completely for granted. And now they're feeling the weight of that loss. The Ten of Pentacles is also about family and community, so this might be someone who's realizing that they messed up not just a relationship, but a whole future they could have had with you. Maybe they're seeing you move forward, seeing you create stability in your own life, and they're kicking themselves for not appreciating what was right in front of them. There's also this element of them realizing that what you offered was rare, like they went out there thinking they could find better or easier or more exciting, but now they're discovering that genuine connection, real loyalty, and authentic love are actually incredibly rare. And you had all of that. The energy here is showing me someone who's about to come crawling back because they're finally understanding what the Ten of Pentacles truly means. That you don't just throw away something solid for something shiny and temporary. This person is waking up to the reality that they lost their stability when they lost you. Now, the next card that came through is the Page of Cups. And this is where things get really interesting because this card is all about emotional messages, new emotional beginnings, and someone approaching with feelings. But here's the thing, Pisces. The Page of Cups is young, sometimes immature, and often doesn't fully understand the depth of what they're feeling. This is showing me that yes, this person is going to reach out to you with some kind of emotional message or gesture. They're going to try to present themselves as if they've had some kind of emotional awakening or realization about you. The Page of Cups energy is sweet on the surface, but it can also be quite naive and not fully formed. What I'm seeing here is that this person is going to come to you with words that sound pretty, maybe even poetic or romantic, but the cards are warning you that this is surface level emotion. It's like someone who's just discovered feelings exist and thinks that's enough. They might send you messages about how much they miss you, how they've been thinking about you, how they realize now what you meant to them. The Page of Cups often brings news of love or emotional developments, but it's important to remember that pages are messengers, not masters. They carry the message, but they haven't mastered the lesson. This person might genuinely feel something in the moment they reach out to you, but the maturity to actually follow through, to do the real work, to make lasting changes, that's questionable. The Page of Cups also represents someone who's testing the waters, seeing if you'll respond, checking if the door is still open. They're not diving all the way in, they're just dipping their toes to see what happens. This is calculated vulnerability, Pisces. They're showing you just enough emotion to get a reaction, but not enough to actually be truly vulnerable or accountable. And here's another layer to this card. The Page of Cups can indicate someone who's in love with the idea of love, not the reality of it. They might be missing the romance, the attention you gave them, the way you made them feel special, but are they actually willing to show up and be the partner you deserve? That's a completely different question. The Emperor card just appeared, and this is absolutely fascinating in this context because the Emperor is all about structure, authority, control, and leadership. But here's what the cards are telling me about this situation. Someone is trying to reclaim control or trying to present themselves as having their life together, as being this stable, authoritative figure who knows what they want now. The Emperor energy is very much about wanting to be in charge, wanting to set the terms, wanting to dictate how things go. And I'm seeing that this person might approach you with this kind of energy, like they've figured everything out and now they're ready to tell you how things are going to be. But Pisces, the cards are showing me something really important here. The Emperor is also about false authority. Just because someone presents themselves with confidence doesn't mean they actually have the wisdom or the integrity to back it up. This person might come to you acting like they've got everything under control, like they're now ready to build something solid, but you need to look at their actions, not their words. The Emperor can also represent someone who wants power in the relationship, who wants to be the one making decisions, who wants you to fall in line with their timeline and their terms. Are you seeing this? They messed up, they walked away or treated you poorly, but now they want to come back and be in the driver's seat? That's not how healing works. That's not how genuine remorse works. True accountability doesn't come with demands for control. The Emperor is also showing me that this person might be feeling threatened by your independence. Maybe they're seeing you build your own empire, create your own stability, stand in your own power, and that's triggering them. They want to come back into your life, not necessarily because they've changed, but because they want to regain some control over the situation or over you. The Emperor energy can be protective and providing when it's mature, but when it's immature, it's domineering and self-serving. Watch for someone who wants to swoop in and save you from problems they created, or who wants credit for stability without having actually done the work to earn your trust back. Then we have the Chariot, and this card is really emphasizing movement and determination. The Chariot is about forward motion, about being driven toward a goal, about having the willpower to overcome obstacles. In your situation, Pisces, this is showing me two possible things, and both are really important for you to understand. First, the Chariot is showing me that this person is going to make a determined effort to come back into your life. They're not just going to send a casual text, they're going to actually pursue you with some level of determination and focus. The Chariot is a card of victory and conquest, so there's this element of them seeing you as something they need to win back or reclaim. But here's the critical part. The Chariot is also about your journey forward. While they're trying to steer their way back to you, you've been moving forward on your own path, building your own momentum, creating your own victories. The Chariot is telling you that you have the strength and the determination to keep moving in the direction that's right for you, regardless of what this person does or says. You're not stuck waiting for them. You're not frozen in place. You're actively creating a new chapter. Now, the Chariot can also indicate someone who's very focused on what they want, but not necessarily considering the bigger picture or the feelings of others. It's that energy of being so determined to reach the destination that you might run over things in your path. Is this person truly considering your feelings, your healing, your needs? Or are they just focused on getting what they want? The Chariot requires balance and control. It's about harnessing opposing forces and moving them in the same direction. If this person is coming back, are they willing to work with you, to move at a pace that feels safe for you, to respect your boundaries and your process? Or do they just want to charge ahead on their timeline? The Page of Swords appeared, and this card is super significant because it's all about communication, messages, and information. But the Page of Swords also carries this energy of being a bit sneaky, a bit tactical, someone who uses words as weapons, or who's gathering information. This is confirming what I suspected from earlier cards. This person is going to reach out to you, but their communication isn't entirely straightforward or honest. The Page of Swords can represent someone who's testing you, someone who's trying to figure out where you stand before they fully commit to anything. They might send feeler messages, casual check-ins that seem innocent, but are actually designed to see if you're still emotionally available to them. The Page of Swords is clever and strategic, but not always mature or wise. This is someone who thinks they're being smart about how they approach you, who has maybe even planned out what they're going to say to get the best reaction. But here's what the cards want you to know. The Page of Swords can also be all talk and no action. This person might say a lot of things that sound good, might make promises or declarations, but pages are students, not masters. They haven't actually learned the lesson yet. The Page of Swords also warns about gossip, manipulation, or half-truths. This person might not outright lie to you, but they might omit certain things, frame the story in a way that makes them look better, or use emotional language to bypass your logical defenses. You're a Pisces, so you're naturally empathetic and you feel things deeply. And the Page of Swords energy knows this. They might specifically tailor their approach to play on your compassion or your tendency to see the best in people. The Page of Swords is also about mental energy and sometimes anxiety or overthinking. You might find yourself analyzing every word they say, trying to read between the lines, wondering what they really mean. That's exactly what this person wants. They want to occupy your mental space again. But the cards are telling you to stay sharp, stay clear-headed, and don't let pretty words distract you from patterns of behavior. Now, the Queen of Cups came through, and this is really beautiful, but also really important for you to understand. The Queen of Cups represents emotional maturity, compassion, intuition, and nurturing energy. This is you, Pisces. This card is showing me that you are being called to embody the Queen of Cups energy in this situation. You have the emotional wisdom to see through manipulation, you have the intuitive gifts to sense when something isn't right, and you have the maturity to make decisions from a place of self-love, rather than codependency. The Queen of Cups is deeply feeling, but she's not a doormat, she's not naive, she doesn't sacrifice her own well-being for others. She loves deeply, but she also has boundaries. She's compassionate, but she's also discerning. The cards are telling you that this situation is actually calling you to step more fully into your Queen of Cups power. Yes, this person might be coming back. Yes, they might be saying things that tug at your heartstrings, but you get to decide what you're available for. The Queen of Cups knows the difference between genuine emotion and emotional manipulation. She can feel someone's energy and know whether their intentions are pure. Trust that knowing within yourself, Pisces. The Queen of Cups also represents someone who has done the inner work, someone who has faced their own emotional depths and come through with wisdom. Have you been doing that work? Because if you have, you're not the same person they left behind. You've grown, you've healed, you've learned things about yourself and about what you truly deserve. The Queen of Cups doesn't need external validation because she's found her own emotional center. She doesn't need someone else to complete her because she's complete within herself. This card is also a reminder that your intuition is your superpower right now. If something feels off about this person's approach, if their words don't match their energy, if you sense manipulation or insincerity, trust that. Your intuitive hits are accurate. The Queen of Cups sees through to the emotional truth of any situation. Judgment card appeared, and wow, this is such a powerful card for this reading. Judgment is all about awakening, realization, and seeing things with total clarity. It's about that moment when the veil lifts and you see the absolute truth of a situation. This card is telling me that a major moment of clarity is coming for you regarding this person and this whole situation. Judgment often represents a point of reckoning, where past actions are reviewed and truth comes to light. This person might be facing their own judgment moment where they're being forced to look at what they did and who they really are. But more importantly, you are entering a judgment phase where you're going to see this situation and this person with crystal clear vision. All the illusions, all the excuses, all the ways you might have rationalized their behavior or given them the benefit of the doubt, that fog is lifting. Judgment is about resurrection and rebirth, but it's also about accountability. If this person is truly having a judgment moment, they would be taking full accountability for their actions, facing the consequences of their choices, and genuinely doing the inner work to transform. But if they're just performing contrition while actually avoiding real accountability, that will become obvious to you. The Judgment card doesn't mess around. It brings everything into the light. This is also your moment of personal judgment, where you get to decide what you want moving forward. Not based on who this person used to be, not based on potential or promises, but based on reality and truth. Judgment asks you to evaluate everything with honest eyes and make your decision from that place of clarity. The card also speaks to your own spiritual awakening through this experience. You're not the same person you were before all of this happened. You've learned profound lessons about love, about boundaries, about your own worth. The Judgment card honors that growth and transformation. You're being called to a higher level of consciousness in relationships, to expect more, to accept less nonsense, to honor your own journey. Three of Swords showed up, and okay, this card traditionally represents heartbreak, pain, and emotional wounds, and in this context, it's confirming that there has been real hurt here. But here's what's really interesting about how this card is appearing in your reading. It's not just about the pain you experienced. It's also about the truth that needed to be revealed, even though it hurt. The Three of Swords is about painful clarity, about those moments when you realize something that breaks your heart, but also sets you free. This person might have caused you real pain, they might have betrayed your trust or wounded you deeply, but that pain also showed you the truth about who they are and what they're capable of. And as much as it hurt, you needed to see that truth. The Three of Swords is also appearing to acknowledge that what happened wasn't just a small thing. It wasn't just a misunderstanding or a rough patch. It was a significant betrayal or hurt that cut deep. Or, the cards don't want you to minimize what you went through or what you felt. Your pain was valid, your heartbreak was real, and you don't owe it to anyone to pretend it wasn't that bad. But here's another aspect of the Three of Swords that's really important right now. This card can also represent someone who's experiencing their own heartbreak, their own painful realization. This person who hurt you might now be feeling their own Three of Swords moment, as they realize what they lost, as they face the consequences of their actions, as they experience the pain of genuine regret. But here's what you need to understand. Just because someone is hurting doesn't mean you're responsible for healing them or taking them back. Just because they're experiencing their own Three of Swords doesn't erase the Three of Swords they gave you. The card is also warning you about repeated hurt. If you allow this person back in without real change, without genuine transformation, you might experience this Three of Swords energy again. And you've already been through it once. You know how much it costs you emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Are you willing to risk that again? The Eight of Swords is the next card, and this one is really crucial for you to understand because it represents feeling trapped, restricted, or mentally imprisoned. But here's the thing about the Eight of Swords. The woman in the card is blindfolded and surrounded by swords. But if she could see clearly and take off the blindfold, she'd realize she can actually walk away. The swords aren't actually imprisoning her. This card is showing me that this person might try to make you feel like you have no choice, like you're trapped in this situation with them, like you have to hear them out or give them another chance. They might use guilt, they might use emotional manipulation, they might try to make you feel obligated. But the Eight of Swords is telling you that this is an illusion. You are not trapped. You are not obligated. You always have a choice. You always have agency. You always have the power to walk away. The Eight of Swords can also represent mental imprisonment, where you're stuck in overthinking, anxiety, or limiting beliefs about yourself and the situation. Maybe you're thinking you won't find anyone else, or that you deserve this treatment, or that you should be grateful they're even coming back. These are the swords that bind you, these limiting thoughts that keep you stuck. But they're not truth. They're illusions. The card is also showing me that this person might try to overwhelm you with their perspective, their reasoning, their justifications, to the point where you can't think clearly anymore. The Eight of Swords can represent mental confusion or being talked into something that doesn't actually serve you. If you find yourself feeling confused, overwhelmed, or pressured during conversations with this person, that's a red flag. Real love doesn't confuse you. It doesn't trap you. It doesn't make you feel mentally imprisoned. The Eight of Swords is calling you to remove your own blindfold, to see the situation clearly, and to recognize that you have more options and more power than you might currently believe. You can walk away. You can say no. You can choose yourself. Finally, the Nine of Swords appeared, and this card is about anxiety, worry, and sleepless nights. The Nine of Swords shows someone sitting up in bed, head in hands, unable to rest because of mental anguish. And this is showing me a couple of really important things. First, this card might represent where you've been, those nights when you couldn't sleep because you were replaying everything, trying to understand what went wrong, wondering if you could have done something differently. The Nine of Swords acknowledges the mental torment you've experienced because of this situation. But here's what else this card is showing me. This person is also experiencing their own Nine of Swords moment. They're losing sleep over losing you. They're tormented by regret. They're replaying all the moments they messed up, and it's eating at them. The Nine of Swords is that punishment you carry within your own mind, and they're carrying it now. However, the cards want you to understand something crucial. Just because someone is suffering doesn't mean they've actually changed. The Nine of Swords is about mental anguish, but not necessarily about transformation or growth. This person might be miserable without you, but that doesn't mean they've done the work to be different, to be better, to be what you deserve. They might just be uncomfortable with the consequences of their actions and want relief from that discomfort. Taking you back might relieve their Nine of Swords, but would it be good for you? Would it actually lead to a healthy relationship, or would it just restart the cycle? The Nine of Swords is also a warning to you about your own mental health. If engaging with this person, if listening to their pleas, if considering taking them back causes you anxiety and sleepless nights again, that's your answer right there. Relationships should add to your peace, not destroy it. The card is telling you to prioritize your own mental and emotional well-being above their discomfort or regret. You've already lived through the Nine of Swords because of them. You don't need to sign up for that again. So Pisces, when I look at all these cards together, here's what's crystal clear to me. Yes, this person is going to come crawling back. The energy is undeniable. They're realizing what they lost. They're feeling regret. They're going to reach out to you with emotional messages and determined effort. They're going to present themselves as having changed or as being ready now. But the cards are screaming at you to be discerning, to be wise, to not fall for surface-level emotions or pretty words without seeing real change and real accountability. The Queen of Cups energy within you knows the difference between genuine transformation and someone who just misses what you provided for them. The Judgment card is giving you the clarity to see truth, and the Eight of Swords is reminding you that you're not trapped, you always have a choice. This person hurt you deeply, that Three of Swords energy is real, and just because they're experiencing their own pain now doesn't erase what they put you through. You deserve someone who doesn't have to lose you to appreciate you. You deserve someone whose love is consistent, not conditional. You deserve someone who does the work before causing the pain, not after. The cards are encouraging you to stand in your power, trust your intuition, maintain your boundaries, and not settle for less than you deserve just because someone realizes too late what they had. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth initially. Keep moving forward on your own chariot journey. Keep embodying that Queen of Cups wisdom, and let the Judgment card clarity guide your decisions. This situation is teaching you so much about your own strength and your own standards. Don't forget those lessons just because someone comes back with tears and promises. Real change shows up in sustained actions over time, not just in words spoken in moments of desperation.